For its 4th anniversary, a bunch of new Link Click announcements dropped, the most important of which being Link Click Season 3 will be coming out next year and have a whopping 24 episodes. Another very respectable turnaround which I greatly appreciate. Along with this announcement, we got a promotional video for a new character, which I'm going to be breaking down today. Spoilers for the entirety of the series. This is our new character, Jae Lee. Not really relevant at all, but his name immediately stood out to me because it sounds Korean and not Chinese, which would make him our first non-Chinese main character. Although I'm no expert on Asian naming conventions, so take that with a grain of salt. In the trailer, we hear only his side of a phone call. He answers with "Hello dear," which has to be a poor representation of the way British people talk or something, because the next thing he says is "It's good to hear you're still alive, sir." A 27-year-old guy just called a man who clearly ranks higher than him in some way dear. You see how that's weird, right? The next part is in Chinese, but translates to, "If you're calling me while I'm on vacation, it must be very important." He then says, "Fine, I'll catch them," in English, and pulls up the location of the photo studio. He ends by saying his vacation is ruined again, but Guido sounds like an interesting place in Chinese. Guido is the fictional place in China where the photo studio is. From the visuals, we can see he works for the Bridon Crime Agency and seems to be a part of the Special Affairs Squad with the rank of Sergeant. The name is a reference to the real National Crime Agency, which is the UK's leading law enforcement body in stopping serious crimes. And from what we see in the trailer, it does look like a legit government organisation with all the security and the fact that the program has things like criminal records and officer profiles. Based on the name, the Special Affairs Squad most likely deals with anything related to people with powers. We actually see Jae Lee's eyes change colour at the end of the video, which I'm taking as confirmation he does have an ability. They change to white, the same colour as Xiao Ling's at the end of Season 2. In the UK's police force, Sergeant is the second lowest rank, just above Constable. Generally, they're like a team leader. Jae Lee is only 27, which is a bit young for a promotion, considering you usually require several years of service under your belt before being considered. But it's not impossible. You would just have to do something really impressive, like solve a massive case. So Jae Lee is clearly quite the skilled agent. Also, notice that the photo studio has an A+ rank. This rank most likely refers to the powers of the people that live there. It could just be an estimate of their capabilities, or considering it's a crime database, it could be a threat level. It's interesting that the photo studio is already a location of interest in the Bridon Crime Agency's database. To me, this implies the British government has been keeping an eye on Lu Guang and Chang Xiaoshi, likely ever since their antics in Bridon. Now for the most important question, who exactly is Jae Lee talking to? Considering he says, "Fine, I'll catch them," referring to the boys, it can't be anyone good. There's not much to go off, but the most likely answer is Vane. The second thing he says is, "It's good to hear you're still alive, sir." This makes the most sense for him because of his whole dead, not dead thing. Vane also probably really hates the boys right now, and because of that, he would be the person most likely to call up a special agent while he's on vacation just to track them down. This also kind of makes the "hello dear" thing make sense. We know Vane is fond of his affectionate nicknames. If he is talking to Vane, that would be unfortunate, as it would mean our government special agent here is very, very corrupt. Over 2.5 seasons, Lu Guang and Chang Xiaoshi have not gained one single powerful ally. Not only that, but now they have the mafia, probably a cult, the government, and God knows what else after them. Before Jae Lee logs into his account, the PV pans through a couple different boards of evidence with red string connecting them all. A lot of this stuff is not in English, forcing me to rely on Google Translate. Some translations might be slightly off, and there was a lot I unfortunately couldn't read at all. The first section we see has a sticky note that reads "must find them" and an arrow pointing to a large symbol in the center. We've seen this symbol before, it's Liu Xiao's tattoo. All this looks and sounds like a cult, or maybe some secret society of people with powers. Based on Liu Xiao's actions, I think the goal is to guide time down one particular path, but to make sure it happens, they need to deal with people who are going around messing with important nodes, like Lu Guang. Looking at the symbol closely, it looks like a person standing in front of a large eye. Where have I heard that before? That's right, those are the lyrics to the Bridon Arc opening, which is also titled The Eye. In my analysis video, I wrote off a lot of the song's lyrics as a messy attempt at English, but if it turns out it was a hint about this cult the whole time, I deeply apologize for doubting the Link Click creators. There's another note with Bahati written on it. It's written in a way that you have to scribble over the letters to reveal them, just like of the boys did in the library. The next is all about Chris. In the center is a missing persons poster with a note that she's been missing for 3 years on it. That would mean she hasn't been seen since the incident with Vane in her office. The sticky note has the word survivor circled, and in the back there's also an article about the language school fire with large fire underlined. We then move to information about Vane. There's an autopsy report that's labeled as top secret. A note asks where the body is, which makes sense as we saw he was still alive at the end of Bridon Arc. On the report is a sticky note that reads who took him. There's also a little drawing of the symbol from before on it. Then there's an arrow pointing to a photo of Leo Xiao, all referring to him opening Vane's body bag at the end of Bridon Arc. On top is something that looks like a ransom note. It says Vane and then something I can't read. This might have been left in place of Vane's body. Behind it is a news article about Vane's death. The word attack and something I again can't read is circled, but attack being highlighted is obviously referring to how his death wasn't natural, but he was killed by someone. There's a photo of Vane and Chung Xia passed out in Chris's office. Vane also has a little halo drawn over his head and the word dead with a question mark coming off of it, asking if he was really even dead from the start, considering his body is now missing. Finally, there's a couple photos. They're from Vane's character PV released just before Bridon Arc came out. In one, he's walking with some of his subordinates. One of them is scribbled out. That could either mean he's dead or he's been eliminated as a suspect in Vane's death. The third photo has the word stray something written on it. It looks like it says stray kitten to me, but that would make no fucking sense, so let's just say it's too blurry to read. Next we go to a section about Xiao Fei and Jack. The headline of the paper says latest developments of major violent incident, suspected relation to gang violence. The note up the top says violent conflict. The second heading says famous models continue to disappear. The circled word on the bottom sticky note is model and I can't make out the other. This is all related to what Lu Guang watches on the news at the end of Bridon Arc. And for the last part, we've got a section on Liu Min, Emma, and Li Tianchen. The article is about the company Emma worked for faking their financial reports and Emma's commitment by jumping into a river. The jumped into a river part is circled. The writing on Liu Min's photo is something about guilt. Off in the corner is a picture of Li Tianchen. The headline of the article is too blurry to make out, but under his photo it says the criminal suspect Li Tianchen. So I'm assuming this article has something to do with what went down in season 2. There's an arrow drawn on the article connecting Li Tianchen to Emma and Liu Min, which is referring to the main plotline of season 1. Finally, each piece of evidence is connected by a red string. We jump cut away from the first board so we can't see what it connects to, but for the others, the string from Chris's missing persons poster connects to a photo of Leo Xiao, which then goes to the ransom note and all the photos of Vane. There's a bit of string from Xiao Fei's photo that goes behind Vane's section, but nothing connects on top of it. The models are connected to the article about the company and Emma's death, which seems odd, but then again, Leo Xiao works for it and his dad owns or just invests in it, which would definitely give Xiao Fei a connection to it. Maybe they were hired by it, or maybe it's related to their disappearance. The company's name sounds like immoral in Chinese, so I'm sure it's a front for something. The string then runs off the top of the screen, but it looks like it's going to the same place as the one that connects Liu Min and Li Tianchen. And that's it. Now we wait for new music videos and more trailers to come out. Thank you for your time.